Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at another beautiful ship from the Steam Workshop. This is the Kona Starfreighter by Dolan, another completely vanilla, modless, beautiful craft that follows a more civilian style. Now, we're always looking at battle cruisers and things that have 150 million guns on that will destroy their opponent, but we don't really look at the logistical side of things. What's going to be carrying that ammunition, the supplies to various outposts around your solar system? So first off, let's have a look at the crates themselves. Now, the crates are a little bit smaller, like a cube sort of crate. That's quite interesting, but they serve a very functional sort of purpose. You can see there's a connector on the bottom of each crate, and you simply just plug it in to the connector on the crate above. And since they're these small little cubes, they can easily be stacked, moved around various different locations, and inside they just store a large cargo container that you can just see through the peak in that gap, perfectly protecting it and holding the supplies that you need to transport. Anyway, let's continue having a look by going to the front of the ship. So look at the front of the ship, the first thing you notice is this lettering, and from a distance I was like, looks like there's some sort of 3D lettering going on here, but no, he's just smartly decided to cast a secondary colour underneath. So as you get a little bit closer, you can actually see this is a small ship that has been used in conjunction with the large ship on the top area. And this is a perfect way of adding some detail to this ship at the risk of Clan getting involved with that rotor. So you can see as we come a little bit further back, we've got a little bit of a lighting area that perfectly exposes our oxygen generators below, and on this side we've got ourselves some refineries so we can process some ore. I just really like this rusty sort of orange colour that he's gone with, and in contrast with that grey. So as it actually tucks in here at the centre in the middle, you can see we've got a lots of utilitarian sort of ideas of blocks. So we've got these rounded sort of areas that's supposed to be maybe some sort of radar disc. You kind of have to use your imagination, but it looks right, and from the distance it gives that sort of detailed effect that you'd expect on the front of the ship. Now as you come down to these lower area, this is what I really do like. You can see these little blue vented areas. He's basically created a vent, put the round bit in the middle, and it looks like some sort of intake, some sort of highly detailed engine area I really like. And you can see how he's recessed some other areas in there as well, creating that shadow and depth that we like kind of in our sort of designs. Also a nice little window tucked in there for good measure. So as we work our way down the side, he's done the same again with one of these cut down blocks, using different areas, just stacking parts up and using some of them dividing sort of boundary blocks that are used to protect your character from gunfire, just to create a little bit more detail from the distance. As you get closer, you kind of understand that it is a selection of random blocks that serve no purpose, but it just creates that detail. And the same with these blocks that have been stuck out the bottom that create that little bit of shadow. As we go underneath, you can see we've got more antennas sticking out, so various communication is quite important, because if pirates decide to take over this vessel, because if pirating in space is anything like pirating here on Earth, you're going to get some undesirables trying to take your cargo. But as we work our way along the top, this is where the design smooths out. You can see it's got this like rib sort of design that comes down, feels like it holds these containers very securely, and we've got the oxygen vents there sucking in or putting out whatever it needs to do on the side. I think in this sort of function they've just been stuck on the side, they don't actually operate, they're just designed to look like some sort of vents to maybe to vent gases out into space. So as we come to this rear area, I really like this trellis sort of frame that builds up this back area. You can see how he's staggered these orange blocks off from the side, and he's also used a mixture of heavy and light armor to create that divide in the actual block, as well as slight changes in color to create that very, very subtle but sort of effect. You can see how it's added that line to the edge of the blocks, is just giving it a bit more detailing, so in two different contrasting shades. Now, as we work our way underneath, first I'll cover the underneath, we've got the more antennas sticking out from the bottom, and it kind of ribs into this area where we've got the main thrust pack. The main thrust pack is very sort of square on the ship. I was expecting it to be in this area as well, but no, this is just another heavily detailed section with various round blocks and half blocks cut away, as well as a connector there at the back. You've also probably noticed that we have solar panels on either side to collect a little bit of solar power into the actual thing itself. As we come up into this area, what some people may think is the bridge is actually just an observation deck, but a very nice little feature of this observation deck is this random canister that's mounted to the side, giving it a bit of detail, and the radar that rotates on the left, created out of heavy armor blocks, something I haven't seen before as a radar, but it does look pretty damn good. So as we now decide we want to go inside, we'll enter through one of the various airlocks around the place. So if we actually enter through this one, this enters into a small hangar here at the front. Now on the side of here we do have a docking port, so we could dock this with a secondary ship or a station, and we can actually enter through this airlock and into this area that has an observation area over the crates, so you can see when you're loading and unloading. It would be nice if you had some sort of seat here so you could actually watch that sort of process. So we've got the hangar control in this area, so 2 control bridges right opposite from each other, and you've got the hangar nicely tucked in to this little section. So if we come into here, we enter into one of the main corridors that leads to the stairwell. Basically the stairwell runs the whole length of the ship. The interior of this ship is detailed, but there isn't a super amount of complex parts making to be made to look like shelves and different things like that. It's a functional interior, if you ask me. It's used basically just to get you from point A to B. So if I spawn my character in here for a second, it's perfect for getting me around. It's not ideal for other things. Hold on, I need to let my character load into this environment. There we go. So we've got the med bay, we've got the automated doors, and we can move through the ship, going through various different corridors to get to where we want to. So we've got the forward gravity generator in here, just a very simple room with a gravity generator and air venting, nothing too special. You can see how the lights are flickering a little bit on and off. We've also got the sort of ship systems, so you can see it from a distance. If we also head to the bridge, there's a briefing room here on the left. We'll just quickly tuck in here and I'll show you this. Just simple chairs set up. Various rooms like this fill the ship, and it's always important to have these various different rooms that do different things like this, because it just kind of gives you a little bit of a filler. So another med bay, another layout screen. Let's pop through that door. We've got the cryo base over in this section, all lit up. Just a basic detailing of room, but where the detailing really comes to life is the bridge. You can see that he spent a lot more time on the actual bridge itself rather than some of the other interior areas. So here's the bridge. The bridge has actually been constructed surprisingly out of a combination of a large and a small ship. So you'll see that there is a large ship components and these small ship components in this area, and initially it's quite throw-in. So if I actually take us out to the area out here, we pop our character in, we've got the computer area processing whatnot, and I'll turn the lights off so you can see how dark it is. So we go up to the bridge, the door opens, and you enter from the large ship into the small ship sort of bridge. That's quite fascinating. You've got these storage tanks that you can pull different supplies out. This little menu's on the rotor here, and it's showing us different displays, different readouts on different blocks, what's on, what's off, what's in the cargo containers. On this side, we've also got alert, inbound transmission, some bit of roleplay sort of screens going on here, another layout of the ship, and some bigger layout showing the sort of damage levels of the ship and whatnot. So sitting into this area, we actually have the self-destruct that has a self-destruct and information on what to do if there's a self-destruct. Activate console at this station, engage master safety, shut off in engineering reactor core, and engineering self-destructs. Ship will detonate in T-3 minutes. Evacuate all personnel to life. So that, I guess that just everything's going to explode. We've got some more seats that are extended down into this area. These are quite nice because if I decide to sit in one, you can look to the left to get some readouts on that. These screens are a little bit too far backwards. Maybe one block forward would be a little easier to read. But just this smaller ship interior in this larger ship is just a great way of detailing the design. It's definitely something to learn from here. Anyway, let's have a quick pop down to the escape pod that is on the bottom of the ship. Now, what's quite cool about this escape pod is it's exactly this area. It looks just like part of the ship when you're cycling past, but then when you get close to it, you realize that it's actually got parachutes attached to it. And if you actually go up into this area, you can see we've got the gyroscope bay area. And below here, we've got various access points to the actual cockpits that are all stored up on here. So I'm guessing he's trying to save 6 members of the crew, or unless the ship is only piloted by 6 people, then you're going to save everyone. There's the block. Simply disconnect it, and the ship drops free. Simply drops free, and you will be rescued when the parachute deploys on the surface below. Anyway, let's pop back to the bridge and just see how this baby handles. So, moving our camera in and out. Oh, wrong deck. Need to pop into here, and we need to see how this thing flies. Now, the only thing I'd see going wrong here is the actual cockpit, because it's a smaller ship area, disconnects from the larger ship. So you can see the cockpits at the front, so you won't be able to get this full ship in view as we accelerate. So let's have a little look at our acceleration. Quite a slow acceleration, but that's what you kind of expect from a sort of cargo ship like this. You can see the flashing lights on the side. Very nice indeed. So let's attempt to slow it down. See how fast our acceleration is and deceleration. So the deceleration is quite slow as well.
You can see that most of the thrusters on the side are hidden. Quite interesting. Very nice idea. But obviously it takes up a lot of interior space. You can see it's been kind of done on the front as well with the hidden type thrusters. A cool design. Let's just have a quick look at our left and right maneuverability. So we've got quite a good turning radius on the left. Have we got a good sort of roll? Yeah, we seem to be fine. Our acceleration is not great, but I'm kind of expecting that for a freighter. It kind of lives up to what you would expect with the limited firepower as well as the limited stop and start distances. Anyway, check out the link to this ship in the description below. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.